Hello, guys and gals, and welcome. So today is what, the 8th day of waiting on the beta, and man, it's been quite a roller coaster ride, I tell you. Between the Blizzard president stepping down, the Vicarious Vision president being put in his place, the news of no delay for the beta, the on top of that, we also got the whole Xbox date leak of 8/17. There is just no end to, when I first started this little series, and I never expected it would be such a silly roller coaster ride of information. But you know what? It has been, and that's the silliest thing about it. So we're going to do some of our checks today, although I don't expect to find any information because we've had so much leak so soon. We're going to check the Diablo II Press Center, and right now there is currently no new information on the Diablo II Press Center. The last post is from 4/6 for Diablo II Resurrected. I'm going to double check and make sure there's been nothing else that's been posted. No pictures, no documents, no press releases, no press kits. So it looks like we're still very firmly entrenched in the alpha stage of this press kit. We're also going to double check some of our bookmarks here that we have gathered over the past week or so. I have a couple different bookmarks that I had saved up, things that I had hoped would be updated once new information had come around, and we're also going to double check that Xbox website and see if they put the date back up there. So the date is gone on the Xbox website, the 8/17 date, which is funny. Oh yeah, the date disappeared shortly after it was posted. My girlfriend was like, "The date's gone." Yeah, so nobody's really sure, babe, whether the date means, like, that it was an actual release date for the beta, or whether it was a placeholder, because sometimes they do placeholder dates, or whether it was for the pre-order date, or whether it was from the non-pre-order date, because there's like a whole bunch of speculation as to what that date actually means. And we also got this information beforehand by one of the community managers who said that it was going to be a weekend. And 8/17 is a Tuesday. So Tuesday could hardly be considered a weekend. So nobody's really sure what the 8/17 actually means. So yeah, the date is still deleted on the website here. What is this Dark Alliance Deluxe Edition? It's kind of interesting. Wonder if that's on Xbox Game Pass. I'm also checking some of my other websites. So I have like the Diablo II Resurrected Beta Access page. So this is essentially like an article that they keep up to date as new things appear. And this is like, it's like, I can't get access to the beta. Well, I'm sure this will be updated when the beta is actually updated. So I keep an eye on this just in case. We also go to the news page and see if any new information has popped up at all. And we've got like a new leadership at Blizzard post. That's the president stepping down. The Diablo Immortal development update. That's the Diablo Immortal getting delayed until 2022. And apparently there was some hot fixes on World of Warcraft, but nothing up here specifically for Diablo. So we're gonna look a little bit more before we give up here, because we're getting closer and closer to the beta, and the closer and closer we get to beta, the more information does come out. We just need to make sure that we're doing Boolean searches, which is where we limit our results to very recent entries on the browser. You don't want to be searching for something that's a week ago. If we already searched yesterday, we searched the day before yesterday, we searched the day before yesterday. So all that stuff we've already seen. We need to make sure we're looking for things that have come out today. In fact, in some situations you want to make sure you're looking for stuff that's come out within the hour. It just depends on how often you're searching for stuff like this. This is kind of like a data farming situation. So, there's a lot of people who are posting the date from the Xbox leak. So we've got and many websites have jumped on the bandwagon of posting that date. And thanks to Keep Slaying Them, I had that date like literally day one, the same second that it occurred. So I really appreciate that. Keep Slaying Them. In fact, I'm pretty sure I called you out on the video. I was like, the video where you came in and posted it. And let's see what else we can find here. I thought it was interesting. There's a couple Diablo 2 streamers, or rather video makers, and even they jumped on the bandwagon and posted a video commenting about the date. Dang. www.italy24news.com. The beta date has been revealed. See, I'm still not 100% confident that actually is the beta date, but at least it is a date. I think whatever is going to happen is going to revolve around it. You were no life in the D2 JSP and the D2 official forums. Speaking of the official forums, let's go check that as well. So we're going to go to the base forums, and we're going to hit the Blizz tracker, and we're going to look at any posts that are new. So we currently have no new posts by developers. We have the PTR phase. They're doing like updates on World of Warcraft because there's some sort of massive issue. So we don't have any new comments by Pez Radar, and yeah, no new comments by him. We can go over to the Diablo II Resurrected sub-forums, and we can take a look and see what people are saying real quick. Oh, I knew it wasn't going to be this weekend. Keep slaying them. Because they would have announced it on Tuesday. I'm telling you, Blizzard loves Tuesday. Tuesday is like their love child. And even that date that we got, that got leaked from Blizzard is Tuesday. I mean, from Xbox, it's a Tuesday. I'm telling you, something's with them in Tuesdays. Maybe they're Garfield. Garfield loves Tuesdays because Tuesday's not Monday. You ever heard the Garfield comics? He would even like go to the comic. In the comics, he would even go to the calendar and he would go, "It's Tuesday," and then he would rip the sheet off of Monday and it would still say Monday. And then he would rip that sheet off and it would still say Monday because Monday were always haunting him. Although I never really understood why Garfield hated Mondays. It's not like he went to work. Although I remember someone secretly saying that maybe Garfield hated Mondays because John was always at work, and Garfield secretly actually missed John. And so when John was at work, Garfield was sad. It could be. There's a possibility of that. So let's take a look at this post here that says apparently the 17th was leaked. That date is horribly late. Beta should have been out today. People have screenshots and YouTube videos about it. Somebody said but it disappeared. It's probably wrong now. Well, I mean, if you think about it, everything went horribly wrong for Garfield when John was gone. So John was always gone on Mondays. That was the day he worked, right? And everything was always going so horribly wrong for Garfield. If there was no food in the food bowl, like things would try and kill him, and he was like hiding in bed all day sleeping, She's got her hand on it. She won't let it go. Sorry, I'm looking at Wookie over here. I'm trying to like just read on these forums and see what I can find out. It's funny what people got to say about it though. I'm gonna take a look at this one post. Beta date revealed by store. It's got like 4,000 some odd views. This would be interesting to take a look at this. I want to see more so what people have said toward the end. Well, people in here just like being rude to each other. Just straight up rude. I wonder what they think sometimes, like when they see these posts on the official forums and they're looking up at people like speculating constantly about things, and then like they're worried people are going to actually get it. I wonder if they put like little shill accounts on here. They're like, no, that's not it. That couldn't possibly be it. And then like, I'll give some like other answer that's not quite right. All right, just a bunch of people speculating. Nothing really good there. No real information other than just people being silly. It's funny because now that we have information. All websites are posting their take on the information, and yeah, they probably are laughing their ass off, slaying them. Like there's even there's even like some sort of website over here that's like in Brazilian. I'm not even sure what language this is, but would use the auto translate function. Man, this website is hard to navigate. Game Legends. Sembracha c'è la data della open beta per Diablo 2. Oh man, that's the kind of stuff I was hoping to find in the beginning, like some like a foreign leak, and like I'd go in there and they'd have like access to something that they shouldn't have access to, like one of like the foreign news organizations where somebody just they didn't quite have the professionalism as some of the more serious news organizations. Maybe like something in some country that they only like just started and they have a bunch of like brand new people. There's so many ones from multiple like non-English sources here. I'm kind of trying to sort through them a little bit. Game Reactor is the largest game site in the Nordic region. Genshin Impact leak. Yeah, I'm not finding a whole lot of anything, but it's interesting to see everybody jump on this. I mean, I've been running this stuff since day one when there was no information and people downvoted the crap out of my post. Like they were like negative. It was like 50% downvotes on my first countdown to beta video, and then slowly as I continued, like I got more and more upvotes and less downvotes. And I guess people were like, "Huh, well, I guess he's actually trying to give us the news, and maybe we should just hang on and see if he finds out anything." And then I did find out stuff, and people were like, "Yes, he found out stuff," and then I was like, "I'm still searching, though. We don't know 100% for certain." Man, this stuff is common. You just sorting through these posts and trying to figure out which ones are useful and which ones are not is a whole thing in itself. Alright, I got one more place to look. It's kind of an odd one, but let me check this out real quick, and then if we don't find anything else, we'll move on. We'll play some Diablo. Diablo II Resurrected. Alright, we're gonna check out all three of the non PC websites as well, just to be sure. So we're going to double check the PlayStation website, the Nintendo website, and just in case any of them have leaked anything as well. So nothing on the Nintendo Switch website, nothing worth noting. No date, which it's interesting because pretty much everything on the Nintendo Switch website has a date, and of course it does say the 23rd, which I guess is kind of a date. And now we're on the PlayStation Store. Let's take a look around the PlayStation Store. Of course, what we need to find is the PlayStation beta page. Just like the Xbox has a beta page, the PlayStation should have a beta page as well. Which we really need to see if we can find this. Okay, so hold on. So PlayStation.com, Diablo II Resurrected beta. There's got to be a beta page. Well, that's definitely different than the one I found before. But it still has the 9/23 date on it, so that's not super helpful. It's interesting how if you have so many cogs in the in a wheel, you've got the PlayStation cog, you got the Xbox cog, you got the Nintendo Switch cog, you've got the PC cog, you've got the beta testers, the closed beta testers. I'm sure there actually are closed beta testers. They probably have kept this under wraps. And if you can manage to keep all the cogs on your wheel from going amok, everything goes smoothly. But what ends up happening is, one little cog comes out of place, like the Xbox cog, and all of a sudden you have a date leaked out that you didn't necessarily want leaked out. So that's very interesting. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now, is I'm going through all the cogs on the wheel, and we're trying to figure out if any of these websites have any information that shouldn't be there. All right, so we're going to do one last search, Diablo II Resurrected, because I still think there could be some sort of PlayStation leak. So we're going to check, make sure it's today. Of course, we still got people talking about the Xbox one, even though I typed in PlayStation, it's still pulling up Xbox articles, which doesn't really help me out very much. Unfortunately, the widespread like bandwagon jumping of the Xbox 8/17 date has made it more difficult for me to find credible information, because it's flooded the search engine with 817 posts, and we're so we have to kind of like wade through them like a sea of fog. Of course, none of them actually have any more credible information than 817. They don't know anything more than we already knew in the first place. Diablo II Resurrected. That was on a German website. It's interesting. Sometimes when you represent something, you got to make sure you're representing it as it is, not as fact. So we don't know with 100% certainty that the 817 date is, a fact. But there are certainly some websites that are like, Diablo II Resurrected will be released on August 17th. They're representing it as a 100% fact, which is very interesting. I think that's definitely an oddity, like to represent the date as fact when you're not really even sure whether the date is true or not, or what the date represents. For all we know, it could be the end of the of the beta. I'd be like, oh, beta's over. It was a whole 2 days. Sorry, guys. Pack up your bags and get out. We're closing down beta because we can't have nice things. Interesting. Alright, so I'm going to call it. I don't think there's any new information today. And that's fine. After a leak like that, they probably tightened up all their buttholes and and made sure that everybody was reeled in. Can you imagine like what kind of like just straight up Finkster tightening action there was at the Blizzard headquarters or Vicarious Vision headquarters when they found out that Xbox had leaked the date? And they probably like called up everybody and they're like, we need to make sure that none of you have the date on your website. You guys are breaking street date. We're going to put out fines. Like they probably were pretty pissed. I got to imagine. I'm sure that somebody at the Xbox headquarters got an earful, got literally wrote up. Like I'm pretty sure there was a whole incident report. Like this idiot put the date for the beta on the freaking Xbox website like a moron. Please reduce $5 from their hourly pay. Freaking Vicarious Visions is on the line. $5 from his hourly pay. We want him fired. Let's go, let's do a couple Baal runs. Let's have a little fun with our little broken Amazon. You could turn everything to ice. I'm still thinking about naming what my Amazon for Diablo II Resurrected. Dairy Queen.
I can't carry anymore.
Oh, that's right. It doesn't have a lot of room. Ugh. Grim Shield. For those of you guys that have been following me from the beginning, like keep slaying them, I really do appreciate it. That's this series has been a very, very interesting one, to say the least. I never expected to find anywhere near as much information as I did. Um, and I honestly I could not have done it without help from you guys. You know, pointing me in the right direction every now and then, and I really do appreciate it.
Then you pick a hand, not slime. It's something important.
Not slime. It's something important. Um, Picking hand this side.
Wrong hand. I get to keep a wallet.
That's terrible. No, I'm probably gonna take a nap in here, but I need to get some clothes. Gotta go to work tonight at like 4 o'clock, so this episode's probably not gonna be a super long one because I need to get a nap for before work. Okay. I mean, I could just take her out when I get home at 12. Can't I just take her out when I get home at 12? You took her out at 6. Oh. Okay, I'll take her out before I leave. Gotta take the dogs out. My whole life is taking the dogs out now. I don't even got a dog. Y'all hear me on that? I don't even have a dog. I gotta take the dogs out all the time. I don't even have a dog. I don't even have one. The Ginger Gaming Mentor let the dogs out in Everworld. Ginger Gaming Mentor did. Bear, what are you doing? And it makes matters worse that both the dogs are just, they are old and they can't walk no more. No, I'm pretty sure we used the other bag. Oh, I got a freaking ethereal twitch. I can tell. Dude, how much defense would an ethereal twitch be? I'm sitting there thinking in my mind, like, upgrading it to the highest difficulty setting. I know that upgrading a twitch to a what is it, the wire fleece, probably isn't the best idea in the world, but like, just off the top of my head, I'm like, how much defense would this thing have if I did upgrade it to a wire fleece? What's the base plus the defense on it? Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't have a percentage, so it would just be like probably around 700-ish if I upgraded it to the highest difficulty setting, which honestly is not terrible. Although having a low-level ethereal twitch for my mercs is not exactly an awful thing. I need to mule. Yeah, I need to mule. This character just has... She's got so much crap on her. Yeah. Alright, so Razor's Edge, the Twitch Throw, the Frostburn Gauntlets. I need to hold on to some of this stuff too, because there are some people who were looking for some gear. Specifically, Militant was in here earlier, and he was looking for some equipment. We also got the Spirit Forged linked mail. That'll work pretty good for something. Okay, I can hold on to the rest of this. Not too worried about that.
Good day.
Gonna go perm this game real quick. Permit games. Pew, 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 pew. Come here, Shanky Poo. Oh, Shanky Poo. Death's Touch sword. Not interested. I already have like 2 of them. And I have a full set. So I'm just gonna pass on that. Plus, it's even though it's a level 6 item, it's got really high requirements on dex and strength, and it's a little bit difficult to wield. So I did want to talk for just a second about this armor. So Twitch Throw is just such an amazing little armor for low-level characters, for mercs, for whatever. Mercenaries in particular need fast hit recovery. 20% increased attack speed is going to help them out a ton. Plus to strength and dex will allow them to wield weapons that they would not otherwise be able to wield. Same thing goes for the player. Twitch Throw, I've noticed, is just an amazing low-level armor just all around. And, you know, if you are a character, a melee character who gets there in the thick of it, a paladin, you know, if you're a mercenary who needs a nice piece of armor, these armors just tend to be great for low-level characters, especially when you consider that the plus 10 strength and dex will allow you to put more points into vitality for a little while, so you can really make your character shine. It's just a great piece. If you find a Twitch Throw, I would definitely hold on to it for some lobies. For mercs, and even an ethereal one is great on low-level mercenaries. What you barking at, Flo? Oh, a cat. She's barking at a cat. She hates cats. I don't even know why. She just hates cats. I thought the whole stereotypical dogs hate cat thing was like a meme. I didn't know it was actually a real thing. Because I've never been, you know, in a you know, like a game where oh no, it was number 2. That's right. I've never actually seen a dog that actually hated cats. I'm pretty sure she hates them, like legitly. Did I really get realmed down so fast? Wow. Well, goodbye Twitch, goodbye Spirit Linked Armor, goodbye pretty much everything that was in that room. This whole like realm down stuff is probably one of the most obnoxious things ever. I didn't even go back and forth that much between too many things. Like, I really did not. I logged into to my Amazon, and then I logged into a couple. You know, I went to a couple Baal games, and then I logged out to one of my mules, went to my assassin, and then back to another of my mules. It was only like maybe six times, and I still got realmed down. The Diablo II Resurrected cannot come soon enough. I'm gonna tell you this, because it's stuff like this that just makes me not want to play Diablo 2 anymore. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Diablo 2 is a bad game. It has to do with the fact that that Blizzard was so absolutely lazy. And yes, I'm gonna call this out right now. This is gonna be my little rant. Blizzard was so absolutely lazy that instead of assigning a single person to actually go through the games and ban bots, they decided to just simply employ draconian laws, like basically little things all throughout the game. Like, you can't click too fast, you can't join more than a certain number of games, you can't literally change games too quickly, you can't create more than a certain number of games within like a time span of 30 minutes. Like, they literally, the number of things that they limited didn't even hurt the bots. All it did was hurt every single person who plays the game. The only thing it does to the bots is the bot programmer goes, okay, do not join more than X number of games in 30 minutes. Do not click buttons more than X speed fast. Do not. And literally all the botters do is program around the rules, and they do absolutely nothing to help us, and they do absolutely nothing to hurt the bots except for slow them down by the tiniest of margins. You know what the bots do to accommodate things like that, like not being able to join games within a certain time period. All they do is just program in like an extra Pendle scan run, or like have the bot go kill Shank and Eldritch, and like all it takes is like an extra 30-40 seconds on the end of the run, and they've got their run exactly the same as they always have, or they program their bot to go kill Neelathak a couple times, or the Countess, and they elongate the games by just that tiny little fraction of amount, and then they can just keep running all day long without end. And I'll be banned for literally like 5-10 minutes. And not only that, if I try and click the BattleNet button, if I'm impatient and I click the BattleNet button and try and get in, I'll get banned for longer. All because I wanted to transfer some gear between characters. So, woo! All right, well, I will be right back. I'm going to throw an ad up. I'm going to go grab my clothes for tonight. Because I got to wait. If I don't wait, if I click the button impatiently, it's just going to be even longer. So I'll be right back. Yay, I can log back in just in time to see that my gear is all missing. Oh, so nice, you see, for all my gear to be gone. Yep, game does not exist. So many items lost just simply because somebody wants to be lazy. One person. I'm telling you. One single person could patrol the game and completely and utterly remove every single bot from existence. Yes, it would be a full-time job. Yes, it would be 8 hours a day. But you could literally go through the logs, you could look at things, and you could be banning people left and right. Right now, I could literally go through this list, and I could ban so many bots. But instead, what they want to do is they want to just punish every single real player in the game for existing. I swear, it would be better if they just added a CAPTCHA to join a game, or to create a game, than what they do. Ugh. Ugh, 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 ugh. Alright. Well, what are we gonna do? I haven't leveled up my NATO all the way. Let me see where he's at. Give me just a second here. I made myself some food while I was waiting. Gotta take advantage of those minutes, of those seconds when you have them. So I have completely cleared nightmare difficulty on this character. And I'm on Baal runs, basically. It's too bad we can't find a, like, real Baal run with real people. It's always got to be bot Baal runs. I could always try and make a Baal run game. We'll see what I can do. GGM Baal 1, or Dash 1. Here we go. And I'm just gonna... Let's see if anybody actually joins and has fun with us. See if anybody... This is the experiment. We're gonna find out whether or not the people will actually join a real bot game versus a fake bot game. When they join and realize that this is not a real bot game, will they leave immediately? Will they just leave and be like, "Oh, you're not a bot. The bot games can only be run by bots. You can't do Baal runs if you're not a bot." We're boycotting bots. I just lost like 6 items to draconian bot laws. And you know what the funniest thing is? This is the funniest thing. I know some of you that are watching me have bought it before, so you don't even have to let me know. I know you have. There are so many people who defend bots. There are so many people who defend bots. And some of the things that they say is like, if Blizzard wanted to ban the bots, they would have been banned by now. They make it seem as though Blizzard is letting it happen because they think it's okay. But you know what the truth is? is if you look at what Blizzard has done, if you look at all the laws and rules that they've put into place because of the bots, if you look at all of the, like, the temp bans and VPN bans and permanent IP bans that come about because of literally the rules that were specifically made because of bots, there's no way in the universe you can really sit there and say that Blizzard doesn't care about the bots. Like, they have literally put in every single rule that they can think of to try and ban the bots. The only difference is they're not willing to spend money to do it. So they're not willing to actually hire one person to actually come in and sit there in front of his computer all day long banning bots. They're not willing to do that because that would cost, $30,000, $40,000 a year, and they're not willing to put that money into the game. But they're willing to put in as many little rules and little ban codes as they possibly can. They're willing to do that. Because you know why? That doesn't cost them any money. It doesn't cost them a dime. To tell an admin to pull up the program and put in a code that says, if user leaves and joins game 6 times in 30 minutes, temp ban for 5 minutes. Like, it literally doesn't take more than like 5 minutes for a admin to put in a command like that. An admin that they're already paying. Someone that's already on the payroll for probably like World of Warcraft or something like that. Oh, your lightning hurts. Anyway, rant over. I'm done talking about bots. Or am I? So here are the qualifiers for a bot run, by the way. So if you're searching for a Baal run, sorry, if you're searching for a Baal run, the things that you're searching for is a game that has just started. Because a lot of the times, if you join a game that's 5 or 6 or 7 minutes old, the game has already finished. The Baal run is already done, essentially, right? So if you join a run that is already finished, you miss out on the XP, and because of all the little rules that essentially prevent you from leaving and joining games, more than a certain number of games within a certain number of minutes, it's not like you can just pop in and check a game and pop in, pop out. Like, if you do that too many times, you won't be able to log in for the next 5 minutes, and if you do that too many times within a certain time period, you get banned for like what is it, like an hour? Like, I think like the second one is like an hour, and then the third one is like a couple days. So like it really quickly starts to stack up if you hit those temp bans too quickly, and God forbid you log in from a VPN, because VPNs are used for botting. You get like immediately banned if you log in from a VPN. I am like really hoping that all this stuff goes away in Diablo II Resurrected, because not only has this stuff proven that it is completely ineffectual against the bots, it just in general causes so much havoc and turmoil among the actual real players that it makes the real players not want to log in. I saw it pop up on my Steam thing, and I hit the P button because I thought somebody joined the game. I already killed you, suckers. Where's my merc?
Salutations.
I just realized I don't have my merc out.
Yes.
What level is he? 47. and I am level 56. I mean, he's actually kind of far behind me. There you go, now he's 48. Let's go, Merc. I'll tell you one thing, Hurricane Druid looks dope. I got to take a peek at the Hurricane Druid in the alpha. Man, Hurricane Druid looks dope. Alright, we got the waypoint. Kind of important for Baal runs. But you know, sometimes you gotta find the waypoint. That's just how it works. And honestly, I think the EXP walking Wellstone Keep is usually pretty good. Especially in Hell difficulty, where there's just a massive amount of monsters in there. Of course, you also have the Black Souls, which can be quite a pain in the butt at Wellstone Keep level 3. I mean, my character, my paladin, he has no trouble with the Black Souls, but there are definitely a lot of characters that have issues with the Black Souls. My paladin can literally just tank it. What's up, Keen Bro? So we got a leak from the Microsoft website, Keen Bro. And the leak was 8.17 with no information, nothing essentially to tell us what that actually meant. It's just a leak of 8.17. So we don't know whether that means 8.17 for the pre-order. We don't know if that means 8.17 for the beta, the open beta where everybody can join. We don't know if that means 8.17 for only the Xbox version. A lot of people have speculated that the date might have just been a placeholder date, unfortunately. Mainly because the date is specifically in the middle of the week, which is Tuesday. And because it is a Tuesday, it has, like, no valid reason to be there in the middle of a Tuesday. What's up, Escalon? So basically, that we had a post previously before we got this leak from the Xbox website. And there was a post by Pez Radar on the community forums, the Diablo II Resurrected forums. And basically what he said in a nutshell was that it was going to be weekends. Like he strongly hinted that because weekends had more people available to stress test the game, that weekends would most likely be the choice, for the testing. And he made it very clear that there would be 2 phases and 2 different weekends. And the August 17th date being right smack dab in the middle of the week on Tuesday is certainly not a weekend. And so a lot of people are speculating that it might just be a false date. Although there's another option that I was thinking of, is that it's not a false date, it's just a it's like an intermediary date. So I was thinking about this: if the Diablo II Resurrected closed beta, because we're going to use the term closed beta to represent the pre-order beta, and open beta to represent the non-pre-order beta. All right, because I know that they're not technically open and closed, but I'm getting tired of saying the term pre-order and non-pre-order. It's obnoxious. So if we pretend that the 17th is the open beta, then the closed beta might start on the 13th and run for that whole weekend up to the 17th, and then the 17th would be the beginning of the open beta. Now that was my thinking on it, and I did kind of feel like that might be the case. So what my guess is that we're probably going to get an announcement if the closed beta starts on the 13th, which is Friday the 13th, by the way, which kind of makes sense since this is sort of a horror game. I would definitely classify Diablo as a horror game, with blood and demons everywhere, and it's a horror ARPG, right? So Friday the 13th kind of makes some sense. It also would run directly into the 17th, which could be our open beta date. So the closed beta running into the open beta. But my guess on this is basically this: if the 13th is a valid date, if it's going to run into the 17th, like I'm thinking, we'll get an announcement on the 10th. So today is the 8th. So 2 days from now, we should get an announcement on Tuesday that the closed beta is starting. That's when I think it's going to happen. So if we don't get an announcement on Tuesday, it's probably not going to come out this weekend, this upcoming weekend anyway. Yep. Got my Windy Druid out today. My Windy Druid. I lost my my +2 Druid, +2 Tornado helmet. I'm pretty mad about that. That was one of the items I lost in the Realm Down earlier, which is just dumb. I mean, I can't remember all the stats on it, but it was +2 Druid, +2 Tornado, +2 Solar Creeper, and +2 Shockwave. With some pretty decent stats, too, mind you. Maybe if I pretend to be a bot and post stupid things in chat like, hot TP, 10 monsters nearby, star TP up, danger, Stygian dolls, abandoning run, next game. Wait a minute, you're not a bot. God, that poison though.
How may I be of help?
Always with the poison. Jalas or Shaco? I mean, that was a pretty good druid pelt. Druid pelts are interesting, you know. You could find like a +3 hurricane, +3 tornado one. That thing would be just golden. Massive amounts of physical damage. Baal. It's you and me and you are gonna kill you, Baal. It's the end of you. I will hit you with a tornado or two. So happy together. Come here, Baal, let's have some fun together. Doo-doo-doo-doo. I got tornadoes and twisters too. Stealing all my mana away. I always thought that was the most BS skill. He can just rip all your mana away from you. I always thought that was just so broken. Death Spur boots. Absolutely god-awful. Absolutely terrible bow. An ethereal elegant blade. Absolutely terrible. An absolutely terrible blade. Man, my Nightmare Baal gave me absolutely nothing. That was absolutely sad. Just sad. Very sad. Quite sad. That always cracks me up when you find the like unique monster, like the ones that blow up, like Steel Maul the Wrath over here, and he just walks up to you and explodes. What's up, Handy? I think I'm gonna avoid saying the last part of your name there, sir. There a lot has changed since 1.09. If the last time you played was 1.09. There is a rather hefty margin of stuff that they got changed. A lot of like things that probably should have been changed a long time ago. Like you remember how Zeal used to be? If you maxed it out, you used to have 20 hits on Zeal, and it was absolutely silly. And so nobody would build 20-hit Zeal. They would always just only put like 4 or 5 points into Zeal. Well, they capped Zeal off at 5 hits. Do you remember how Amazon's guided arrow used to pierce through the target, come back out the other side, and pierce again, and it would just sit there and pierce over and over again? They that was a bug apparently, and in 1.10 they fixed that, so guided arrow no longer pierces. A bunch of little things like that. Like Necromancer was always a source of great lag because of all of the skeletons and army that he could summon forth. And so what they did with him was they created a like stronger minions, and they reduced his total number of minions down. So Necromancer skeletons cap out at 10 now instead of 20. Necromancer mages cap out at 10 now instead of 20, so forth and so on. Buriza, what about Buriza? You're talking about the 100% Pierce Buriza with the freezing effect. It still has its uses. There are some pretty sweet uses for a Buriza. If you use it on a believe it or not, a werewolf druid, a fury werewolf druid, it's actually a pretty sweet weapon. And it's not a bad weapon for an Amazon. It's just can't really do the guided arrow thing anymore. And there's other changes too. There were a lot of rune words that were added. If you haven't ever seen an Enigma rune word, I would definitely recommend you look up Enigma. Enigma is a rune word armor that gives you the ability to teleport, and it changed the entire landscape of Diablo 2. Some people would say for the worse. Some people would say for the better. Giving everybody teleport kind of did some really weird things to the game, especially PvP, because since now that everyone can teleport in PvP if you're running an Enigma, it's really weird. So basically everyone's just teleporting around, nobody's actually running anymore. They just teleport around, and I don't even know. Like that, I was fighting just the other day, and there was just like a hurricane druid, and all he does is just teleport on top of people. What's that? So no actual effort involved or anything. It's literally just, I'm a druid, I teleport on top of you, I wait for my hurricane to kill you, and then I teleport around you in a circle, so it's really hard for you to hit me. Like, he didn't even bother to cast Tornado or like use any skills whatsoever. It was pretty much just teleport around you in a circle until you die. It's got to be the most passive PvP that I've ever seen in my life. So if you were a big PvP Diablo 2 player, you might want to catch up on some of that stuff, like the Enigma rune word, various things like that have changed the way that PvP works. A lot of it is just about doing massive amounts of damage before somebody else can do massive amounts of damage to you. Like, there's really not a whole lot of actual like fights anymore. It's pretty much just like, I'm gonna one-shot you or you're gonna one-shot me, and there's really like not much in between. A round shield. That is Wiston's Guard. Interesting. I don't remember this set being particularly good, if I remember correctly. I remember the Gilliam's Face being a very nice a very, very nice helmet. And I remember the shield being decent because of its high block rate. But other than that, there really wasn't much else to it. I think I remember just about anybody that uses this particular shield gets a 75% chance to block. But the helm was the major takeaway from that that set. I remember that. Oh, the game does not exist because I have to create it.
The distro. Afternoon.
I need to go refresh my merc. I didn't realize I had a blessed aim merc. It's definitely probably the one thing I do not need right now. Is a blessed aim mercenary.
Come back this way, have you? What, didn't you see enough action here the first
Let's see. I need defensive level 57. Sounds good.
I'll put that to good use.
That should help him out now that he's a higher level, and also that he has Holy Freeze.
I'll put that to good use.
Yeah, his defenses are, his resistances are capped now, so that'll help him out a ton. All right. By the way, quick tip for you guys and gals, alright? So in Hell difficulty, Black Souls, Gloams, things like that can be absolutely devastatingly difficult to fight. Even with 75% lightning resist, you will often find that they will still kill you. These Black Souls are undead, okay? If you are so unfortunate as to encounter a run on Hell difficulty that has the Black Souls and Haradrim Ancients, remember that Haradrim Ancients raise the undead, and Black Souls are undead, which means that if you are trying to kill the Black Souls, they're going to get resurrected by the Haradrim Ancients, and it's going to be nigh impossible to kill them. So make sure that if in the event that you end up with one of these runs where the Haradrim Ancient are around, make sure you're killing the Ancients first before you kill the Black Souls. Otherwise, all your efforts are going to be in vain. And trust me, I know because I've played a couple characters that are not set up to properly defend against the Black Souls, and they will just rip you to shreds. And the last thing you need is the horrible combination, and I'm going to tell you this horrible combination that we found one time. So, undead Stygian dolls are undead, right? And normally in Act 3, undead Stygian dolls never come across a Haradrim Ancient or a or whatever you want to call those guys. They have a specific name. I think it's called Unravelers. So Unravelers and undead Stygian dolls and Unravelers and Black Souls almost never collide, except for here in Worldstone Keep. And one time we had a hell run where in the throne room there were undead Stygian dolls, black souls, and Haradrim ancients. And the Haradrim ancients were all kind of like in the corners, and as we killed the undead Stygian dolls and as we killed the black souls, they were just resurrecting them. And oh my god, it made for the worst Baal run I think I've ever seen in my life, because there was no end to the undead Stygian dolls, and there was no end to the black souls, and it took us so long to get anywhere, because in the in hell difficulty, Haradrim ancients are immune to magic. And this was a unique pack, and the unique pack was also immune to cold, so the Hammerdin couldn't kill them, and the Ice Sorceress couldn't kill them, and and that was a whole thing. Did I personally get into Alpha handy? No, I didn't. I actually had a couple friends who did, and I basically asked them if I could, record some footage of them playing, and we talked while we played as well. So I have a lot of that footage up on my channel if you're interested. Of course, we're so close to the beta now, and there have been changes in between the alpha and the beta, so the footage is a little outdated at this point. But it's still some good information there, still some good graphics to look at. I do have some 4K videos up there as well of the Amazon and the Sorceress, which are pretty neat to look at. They didn't do a super large amount of changing to the Amazon and the Sorceress. Mainly the ice skills got adjusted. Got such good EXP in the World Stone Keep. All these little monsters. Go sell some of these items in town.
Hello.
I have room in my stash. I do have room in my stash. I said stash. And what I meant to say was room in my cube. What's up, Tigerishly? How goes it? It goes, but it goes without beta. No beta. It goes without beta. We need beta. Tigerishly, can you contact your uncle at Blizzard and let him know we need the beta today? We just can't wait anymore. I know he said he'd do that favor for us, you know. Just go ahead and let him know. No, I don't think so, Handy. So, Sojs are not common drops. They never were. And the only reason Sojs ever became currency is because they got duped so much. So the Sojs will never become currency again because they just aren't common enough to ever become currency. Your chances of finding a Soj is like 1 a month. Like for an average player, 1 a month is like bare maximum. And that's like if you're super duper duper lucky. Most people, like, because I have polled like just about every person that's come into this channel, if they say they've played Diablo, for a certain period of time, I will always ask them, I'm like, how many Sojs have you found? And they'd be like, oh, well, I've had quite a few Sojs. And I'm like, no. How many have you personally had drop and you identified them yourself? And the majority of the time, the answer is 1. And sometimes the answer is 0. So the idea of Sojs becoming a currency again is absolutely silly, because there's no way in the world that there will ever be enough Sojs for Sojs to be a currency when there's no duping. Because as far as I know, the main duping glitch that they used to use back in the day has been nullified. And it's not necessarily that you can't dupe anymore, but more or less that items contain unique identifier codes. And the unique identifier codes basically make it so that you can't dupe items anymore. So, there's basically just a little program that runs in the background and goes, are any of these items identical? And then it shows a list of the identical items, and then it deletes all the identical items. So if there's more than one of any item, it just deletes them all. Before, when the game first started, there was no identifier codes. So there was no way for them to know whether an item was legitly found or was a duplicate of another, because they didn't have these unique ID codes attached to the items, and that was a big part of the issue. After they added the unique ID codes to the items, like Soj number 17, Soj number 18, Soj number 19, etc. If you had 2 Sojs that were the same identifier code, like 2 number 18 Sojs, you knew that they didn't belong, and so you would just delete them. I had a lot of items go poof back in the day. Ooh, Head Striker. Head Striker is a very good sword. Very, very good sword. Oh yes, Handy Escalon, this is Neverworld. Neverworld likes to talk smack, but he can never back any of it up.
How may I be of help?
We're gonna get him a jester hat because he needs it, because he is a professional jokester. I take nothing he says seriously. Nothing. Nothing. So yeah, Head Striker has 90% deadly strike based on character level. So very, very easy to get double damage. It has plus to maximum damage, which makes it a very high max damage weapon. Has prevent monster heal on it. It's actually an excellent weapon for a Vengeance Paladin, believe it or not. On top of that, you can upgrade it, and you can get even more damage out of it. This is a Nightmare version sword, so throw a couple extra runes in there, get that upgraded to the max difficulty setting version of that sword, which I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, and it actually becomes a really nice weapon. A really, really nice weapon, actually. A really, really, really nice weapon, actually. So GGM Baal 4, and we have still not had a single human being join our Baal runs. Despite the fact that these are super easy Baal runs, like, I'm having absolutely no trouble. Have you guys seen me have any trouble kill Baal? Like, I'm literally eating a sandwich, like French fries and some chicken nuggets, literally, while I'm killing Baal, and I still haven't had any issues. Like, I ran out of potions at one point and almost died while I was eating chicken nuggets, and I still didn't die. There's been, like, black souls in every single run, and I'm still doing okay. Like, I'm fine. In fact, I'm gonna take a bite of my sandwich right now. Delicious. I mean, it probably can, but it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't actually mean anything. So when you look in the character screen, see how my tornadoes are represented as white? That shows that they are physical damage, whereas my hurricanes are blue, which is cold damage. So my hurricane is cold damage, and my tornadoes are physical damage. So the question of whether Deadly Strike works on tornadoes, you know what, I really don't know. It is physical damage, and while I would normally say no, Deadly Strike does not work on spells. Tornadoes might be that one exception, since they are one of the very, 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 very few spells in the game that deal physical damage as opposed to elemental damage. Hammerden is an interesting character. You might find it's a little bit difficult to make if you don't have some gear laying around, but I mean, you can always give it a try. I find that Hammerdens tend to be very mana-intensive characters, and you're going to need some way to restore your mana. It's also a higher level ability, so you're not going to be able to start out with it. And you're going to need a lot of faster cast, mana recovery equipment. Redemption will help a little bit once you can start to kill things, but it's not going to be the end-all, be-all of your solutions. Elemental Druid is certainly a very easy one. I definitely would say that Elemental Druid is not as equipment-based as a lot of other characters are. You don't necessarily need faster cast with an Elemental Druid. It's not, like, detrimental. You can start out as a Fire Druid, which is very easy, and then you can switch over to Wind later on with your respec. It's a fairly easy thing to do. The gear that you use on an Elemental Druid is pretty easy to come by as well. I mean, you'll come across some neat, decent Druid pelts. You'll come across some pieces of equipment that you can use. Anything that has plus to skills on it, basically. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. Wolf is good too. He can be like a smith. What do you mean a smith? I find melee characters tend to be more gear intensive than anything. Like if you don't have a good weapon, if you don't have good equipment, melee characters tend to be among the worst to build if you don't have something decent. Especially the weapon, since all of your damage is based on the weapon, it can really be a luck of the draw. Like for instance, if you were to find a head striker, for instance, you'd be pretty well set for a long time until you found something better. But, you know, there's no guarantee you're going to find a head striker battle sword. That's not a guarantee. I keep checking, hoping that somebody maybe joined. And I'm a little paranoid that I might miss them because I'm yakking my lips. Just yakking my lips. You never upgraded an item handy? So, in Diablo II Resurrected, and in Diablo 2, you can take any unique item and you can put it inside of the cube with a set number of runes and gems. And you hit the transmute button and it will turn the item into its higher version. So, basically, let's say, for instance, you wanted to upgrade these Tear Haunch Greaves. So, Greaves are a normal difficulty unique item. If I put the correct runes and the correct gems in the cube with the Tear Haunch Greaves, I can upgrade them to the Nightmare version of those boots, so they'll have higher defense, but in turn they will also have higher difficulty. Letha, you're watching my stream, though. You don't count. I'm glad to have you, though, but you don't count, sir. Sir. I have all the rune words programmed in here. Hold on. Well, I'm not going to sit there and type them all in, but you get the idea. So, for instance, if I wanted to upgrade the normal unique Tear Haunch Greaves to the Nightmare unique Tear Haunch Greaves, I can take the Tear Haunch Greaves and I can put Upgrade Armor 1. That's my Upgrade Armor 1 recipe. So a Tal Rune, a Shale Rune, and a Perfect Diamond. And the Tear Haunch Greaves will give me the same Tear Haunch Greaves, but they will be the Nightmare version of those Tear Haunch Greaves. So they will have all the same stats, but they will have a higher level requirement, they will have higher defense, and they will also have higher strength requirements. So you're looking at some pretty sweet setups. You can really make some low-level uniques worthwhile, like especially like say you have a setup and let's say Goblin Toes. Goblin Toes have some nice crushing blow on them, 25% crushing blow, and you might want to use crushing those Goblin Toes on a character, you know, even at level 99, depending on how your build goes. You know, maybe you switch over to Gore Riders or something like that, but for the most part, you know, there are a lot of characters who might bank on that 25% crushing, right? Well, you can upgrade your Goblin Toes to the Battle Boots, and then you can upgrade them again to the Hell version if you want to, if you happen to have the strength for that, so that you can get more defense out of them since you're going to be using them anyway. Yes, Ethereal upped Titans would be absolutely amazing. So Titan's Revenge is a Nightmare level unique Javelin, and if you upgrade the Titan's Revenge Ethereals, which they have an auto repair feature on them, so Ethereals are the best damage, you up those to the Hell version and they do some amazing damage, but they're also going to have a really high strength and dex requirement, so you're going to have to build your strength and dex pretty high to use them, which is worth it because of the massive amount of damage they do. I'm not sure exactly how much Ethereal Titans upped are worth. To be honest, I'm not sure. I think I have a pair sitting in, a pair. I think I have some, upped Ethereal Titans just sitting in my stash. Well, because they're just that good. Once you get your hands on a pair of upped Ethereal Titans, your character's damage goes way, 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 way up. I don't know. Perfect stuff is overrated. That whole perfect stuff, I think that only started, honestly, because of the bots. I mean, granted, you could still find a perfect item and it would be worth a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But people started caring about the perfects because there were literally so many items flooding the game at any given moment that, like, there would be, like, non-ethereal, like, not perfect titans being sold to NPC because nobody wanted to hold on to them because of how many titans there were just lying around everywhere. I've literally seen frickin' bots sell items to NPC that anyone would hold on to. Gothic bow, long war bow. It's a whole lot of bows. That's Sky Strike, and that one is Blast Bark, and that one is Skewer of Kryntiz, and that one is the Death's Touch sword. I don't really want any of them. Yeah, and I'm sure it's deleted by now, Zozilla. Just gone like a freight train. Oh, you didn't log in for 90 days? Well, we deleted your character and gave away your name to some other people who wanted it. Yep, sorry. Sorry! I know you spent like 700 hours on this game, and like, you know, you really had a lot of fun, and we could tell that you really love this character, but, you know, you didn't log in 90 days, so we shot him in the head with a gun, and we buried his body out back.
Yes, warrior?
Yes, warrior. You got scammed, Zozilla. What'd you get scammed with? See, now you got me worried. Speaking of scams, did you guys hear about the weirdest scam that I think I've ever heard of in my life? Apparently, people are getting their YouTube channels stolen. So, let me explain this for a second, because this was a very interesting story that I read. So, if you guys are unaware of what a scam is, a scam is like a confidence game. All right. So, if you can convince somebody that you are, you know, like Google support or the President of the United States or whatever it is that you're trying to convince somebody that you are, if you can convince them of, you know, of that, if you can make them gain confidence in you, that's why it's called a confidence game. So if you can make them gain confidence in you, you can pretty much tell someone to do whatever you want them to do. And apparently something has happened recently where the scammers have figured out a way to make it seem like they are legitimately coming from Google support. And they know all the little tricks and things like that, like not to ask for your password and stuff like that. You know, they're deliberately going through the process correctly because they've studied all the little tricks and details. You know, if somebody asks for your password online, then they're obviously scamming, because you will never be asked for your password by an organization like Google or Yahoo or anything like that, right? So these people are smart enough to know not to do that. And apparently there's a YouTube channel that specializes in exposing scammers. I can't remember the name of his channel right off the top of my head, but apparently even he fell for it. And it apparently comes from a Google Chat program. Apparently these guys figured out how to actually hack into the Google Chat program so that it appears that they're actually coming from Google. And they trick the person into deleting their YouTube page. And then once they've tricked the person into deleting their YouTube page, they then send them to this website to fill out like an incident report form to, you know, like indemnify themselves against, you know, whatever the reason is that they gave them to delete their YouTube channel. And we're not talking about like a person with like 1,000 YouTube subscribers like me. We're talking about a person that has millions of subscribers. And then they use this information that they gather from the form to steal the person's YouTube account. And apparently the scammer who has done this apparently has bragged that he has control over like 10 or 20 different accounts at this point. Like, he literally is gaining all the revenue from every single one of these accounts, and he's making like millions every single month. And it just kind of blew my mind that not only did you know, regular YouTubers fall for it, but this guy who specifically specialized in, you know, preventing scammers from getting the best of people fell for it, which really kind of threw me off. Just really threw me off. Apparently he didn't fall for it all the way. Apparently at the end, when they sent him to the website to fill out the incident form, which is where you give up the information required for them to essentially get access to the YouTube account and claim it as their own, that is the point at which he noped out. But he literally deleted his channel. He had to like contact the real Google support and have them undelete his YouTube channel and put everything back in place, which is hilarious, in my opinion. And just kind of blows my mind, to be honest. That'd be like someone scamming you out of your house. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know you had a house, but yeah, it's mine now." Anyway, I'm sure if you do a Google search, you can find somebody talking about it, some news article somewhere mentioning it, because it's all pretty hilarious. I don't think I would have fallen for it, I'm gonna be honest. I'm pretty dang skeptical of anything that anyone contacts me. Like, when somebody contacts you, usually that's a red flag right off the bat. Like, if you are being contacted by an organization, that's like a straight up red flag in my book, because you are almost never, and I mean almost never, contacted by an organization like Google. And if you are that popular that you have millions, and I mean millions of subscribers, chances are they're probably going to go through some pretty big hoops to make sure that, number one, you know that they are who they say they are, and number two, they're probably going to call you on the phone. Like, if it were me, if I was if I was Google and I wanted to get in contact with some super popular YouTuber, like say Mr. Beast, I probably wouldn't be shooting him an email or contacting him with chat support. You know, it would probably be much more intimate than that. And I say intimate not to sound sexual, but as in, you know, like, Mr. Beast probably has his own person, like, at YouTube, who is assigned to him. So he probably has a phone number of a person to call and contact when anything goes wrong. you know, he's literally such a big asset to YouTube. He brings in so much revenue that, of course, they're going to, you know, give him the red carpet treatment, right? And I've actually heard some of the other YouTubers say that. They actually said that, you know, there is a special phone number that they call when they need to get into contact with YouTube. It's like their contact point. Maybe one day I'll reach that level, but I'm nowhere near that right now, that's for sure. Yeah, who's that Ginger Gaming Mentor guy? He's only got like 5 subscribers. Leave my merc alone, Baal. Man, I'm getting god-awful drops from Baal, I'll tell you what. Ethereal Bramble Mitts. My bet is that the August 17th date is for the open beta, and probably Friday the 13th is for the closed beta. But like I was saying before, if it is Friday the 13th, we should get an announcement on Tuesday. So if there is no announcement on Tuesday, probably no beta on Tuesday, or on Friday the 13th. They don't tend to drop things more than 2 days out. So like last time they dropped the alpha, they dropped the news for the alpha on the 6th, and then the beta dropped on the 8th. So it was literally a 2-day heads up. Like, hey, we're dropping beta in 2 days. Have fun. Windows XP handy. I mean, that'll play Diablo 2 just fine. $6,700 XT. Which card is that? Is that the AMD card? Yeah, it's the AMD card. How much did you pay for it? Looks like it's better than the one I'm using. $1,000 Canadian. Them darn Canadian dollars always worth more than our American, United States dollars. Yeah, you're right. I guess technically, yeah, it is worth less, I suppose.
At your service.
What do you mean, Keen, bro? Clarify. Enhance. Enhance. Now, I'm trying to figure out what you meant, Keen, bro. I don't, I'd like to answer your question. I just don't know exactly what you're meaning. Well, that's under the assumption that they want a break between the two. So and that was my assumption as well. So if you go back to my original Diablo 2 Resurrected kind of like beta news roundup video, what you'll find out is that I specifically said that they would probably want to put a gap in between the two, the two betas, so that they could make changes and updates in between. But perhaps that's not the case. That was my original thinking, but then at the same time, I was also looking at this August 17th date. That's what was leaked by Xbox, and I'm trying to make it fit. Like, I mean, imagine somebody just handed you a piece of a puzzle and it's like, find where it goes in the puzzle, and you have absolutely no idea where this thing goes in the puzzle. You're just trying to make it fit, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make the August 17th date fit into the puzzle that we already had, and that puzzle is number one, the post by Pez Radar that said that Diablo 2 Resurrected is not delayed. Number two, we got another post by Pez Radar saying that the Diablo 2 Resurrected was going to be in 2 phases over 2 weekends. So we were looking at that point, we were looking at two weekend events. But then we got this date of Tuesday, which Tuesday just doesn't fit into any of the other information that we received. So the only thing that kind of makes sense for that Tuesday date is that the beta is going to just simply continue. So it'll probably start on the 13th and then roll to the 17th. The 17th will probably be the closed beta, or the open beta, for the non-pre-orders. And that's really all I can think on the matter. Either that or the beta starts on Tuesday, which is really weird. I don't know why in the world anyone would start beta on Tuesday. That just seems like a really strange date. Where is all that damage coming from? Well, I mean, yeah, and that is also the other alternative to this August 17th date, is that it's nothing more than a placeholder, and it means absolutely nothing. Somebody could have accidentally put that date in at the Microsoft Store, and that date could mean absolutely nothing, and they could be getting chewed out left and right now because they put a date in there that shouldn't be there. So, there is a certain point where you have to assume, okay, is the statement by Pez Radar false? Or is the date on the Microsoft Store false? Or are they both correct and it's just something in between the two? Like, something more than just weekends, although weekends are included. I mean, I don't know. I'm actually sort of leaning toward that the 17th date might be just a placeholder. But as we get closer to, the 10th, as we get closer to the Friday the 13th, we will find out. It's just a matter of time. If Microsoft Xbox Store say this date, it's going to be by this date. Really? Supposedly the alpha was leaked by the Microsoft Store as well, somebody said, which was very interesting. I mean, while I certainly agree, Zozilla, that Microsoft is not going to give you a false date for the release of something, we're not talking about the release of a finalized product. We're talking about the release of a beta event. And beta events tend to be iffy. And even on the Microsoft website, I don't know if you guys saw, it literally said dates are subject to change. This date, it was like, this date is not a verifiable date or something like that. Like, do not take this to heart. Like, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's pretty much what it said in a nutshell. And it was kind of interesting that they had that on there. I'm sure I could pull up the original screenshot somewhere. It has since been taken down, by the way. I mean, yeah, this weekend or next weekend. Like I said, I think we'll find out by the 10th. I think if it's going to be this weekend, I think they will put an announcement out. We should get the announcement on Tuesday. I'm like 99.9% sure that if beta is going to be this upcoming weekend, we will get an announcement on Tuesday. Well, the other thing that really struck me as odd is Tuesday tends to be Blizzard's announcement date for things. Like, they love to announce things on Tuesday, but they don't love to actually release things on Tuesday. And so the 17th being a Tuesday almost made me think that that was the date they were going to announce the beta. And maybe somebody like read the memo wrong at the Xbox store, you know, or website. They were reading the memo, and the memo probably said the announcement would be on the 17th. And so we very well could be looking at the announcement of beta on the 17th. Perhaps that is the day that we will get the information on when beta will occur. Either way, we'll know in a few days. It's not very far away, is it? Meteoric. I was looking at the name of this scepter. Meteoric Mighty Scepter of the Apprentice. It'll come when it comes. I hate to say it like that, but, you know, all the guesses in the world aren't going to make it come any faster. At this point, I am content to wait. Content! Well, okay, maybe I'm not content. Let's be honest. I'm probably not actually content. But I am more so... I'm waiting, okay? I'm waiting. Look here, Baal. That was just heckin' rude, okay? If that's how you're gonna treat fellow warriors... I always thought Baal was like such a D-bag of a fight. Number one, he knocks you away from him constantly. Number two, he steals your mana. Like, all of your mana away. Constantly. He's just always taking your mana away. And then number three, he's got that stupid Those stupid tendrils that lock you into place. I feel like the person who made, who freaking made the Baal fight was just trying to be the worst troll possible.
How may I be of help?
You're not gonna come play beta with me, Neverworld? How else am I gonna get your ear in the new game? I need to get your ear in the new game. I need a Neverworld Diablo 2 ear, which I already have. I need a Neverworld Diablo 2 beta ear, and I need a Neverworld Diablo 2 Resurrected ear. You were just hoping to win one from one of my contests, that's all. What's up, Zeus the Great? The mighty Zeus! There's singing his cat over there. Calm down. Like the freaking Garfield show. Now presenting Garfield and Friends. I'm gonna throw something at this cat. Ooh, I got a Nerf gun. Oh, sucky now. Come on back over here. I got time. Yeah, boy. Cock this bad boy. I'm gonna keep it on standby. It's a Nerf gun, Neverworld. He'll be alright. He will be alright. What's up, oh so magical? How long until release? Well, we have a date of 8/17, which we are unsure of whether it's actually a real date or not. Apparently, it was leaked from the Xbox Microsoft store. Apparently, Xbox had an actual page listing of Diablo II Resurrected beta. So, like, when you went to the actual page, it would show you, like, you know, the beta version and tell you when the beta version was coming out. And it wasn't supposed to have any information up there, and it did. It was 8/17. And since then, they've taken it down. Alright, Zozilla, man. You have a good day, too. Neverworld, you're supposed to tell them that we're already on and we're playing, and why haven't they downloaded it yet? You'd be like, dude, we're already on. Where are you? We've been waiting for you for like an hour. Switch back to D2R graphics? I can't. We're on boycott of D2R graphics until Diablo 2 beta launches. A superior heavenly stone. Come a little closer, monsters. I feel like blowing you up with a hurricane of level 30ness. I will tear you all to shreds, and then I will shoot some tornadoes at you. As if your hair wasn't blown back by the wind enough. I don't even know how you'd fight somebody who's got, like, command over frickin' hurricanes and jank. Like, I don't even know how you do it. How you gonna even get close to somebody who's literally a hurricane? A walking, talking hurricane. I'm talking real life, of course, you know, not in game. I'm like, it's just it blows my mind. Can't wait to play Hammered In and Fire Sorceress again. It's been years. How many years, oh so magical? Because you might need a refresher. I'm always pushing my refresher videos. If you guys have been here for a little while, you know. I'm gonna drop that refresher link like stat. That's my refresher video tutorial list. I got all sorts of good information up there. Oh, there he is. Boom! That's right. I just shot a Nerf dart at a cat. Y'all don't tell me nothing. He was coming up to pee on something. Alright. He won't peeing on your stuff. He was peeing on mine. Sometimes you gotta be handy with the gun. Keep the cats from peeing on your pillow. Ain't nothing worse than laying down to go to sleep. Get all nice and comfy in your blanket and your pillow. And you just smell cat piss. And then you realize you laid your head down in cat piss. Huh? You know, so don't judge me. I will shoot Nerf darts at this cat all day long. I remember one time we got a Nerf gun. It was a long time ago. The Nerf gun was not the greatest. Like, you couldn't even barely feel the Nerf dart when it hit you. Like, with your bare skin. And I remember looking up a tutorial online where, like, you would you opened it up and you took like a bunch of quarters and you put them inside the like the spring compartment to further compress the spring, so the Nerf darts would actually fire out with a little bit of power. Max Law, you have a good cat then. I will give you kudos. This cat, we have 5 cats, by the way, and 4 of the 5 cats do in fact use the litter box. All right, one of the cats decided at some point in his life that everything in the house needed to be peed on at all times. He pees inside of the dog food bowl. He pees inside of the sink strainer. He pees inside of any bowl or cup that is left around. Which is, it's just, the other day he peed in the crock pot. I really don't know what's wrong with him. I really don't. If it were up to me, that probably would have happened by now, Max. We're trying to get him neutered. He is not neutered at the moment. We don't want to let him out of the house because obviously he would create more little monsters of himself. We contacted an organization. We're waiting on them to get back to us. So, you know, that's a whole thing. But in the meantime, we got to put up with this little crap ahead of a cat. Little crap head of a cat. Because the girlfriend loves cats, that's why. If I killed the cat, I would probably also be dead then, therefore, several days later. Just have to be vigilant. Most of the time, he doesn't have access to anything to be on anyway. Like, we don't give him access to anything. You know, the bedroom is normally shut when we are gone. The bathroom is normally shut when we are gone. I actually have, you're gonna believe this, you're gonna laugh at this. I have spikes. I literally have spikes for my chair because the little crap would even pee in my chair. So I literally bought spikes, and every night when I go to sleep and every day before I leave work, I literally put spikes on top of my chair. And my chinchilla cage also has spikes on top of it because the cats took a liking to sleeping on top of the cage and batting at the chinchilla. So now there's spikes on top of the chinchilla cage too. They work, by the way. If you guys ever have any issues with your cats going on surfaces they don't belong, they the little spikes, they work. They're called, I believe they're called scat mats. I believe that's the official term for them, scat mats. They, you know, they make the cats scat. Get it? I would imagine it's more of an anger thing, Neverworld. If you've ever had a situation where the cat has peed on something or ruined something that you really care for, I think you'd probably understand. But until you've actually had a cat ruin something that might be worth hundreds of dollars or is a priceless, irreplaceable heirloom, you probably will never understand the anger that an animal can draw out of you like a sponge. Baal. My coworker was trying to trap an annoying squirrel, trapped a skunk instead. It's decided to wrap the cage in an old blanket and dunk it in the pool. That is absolutely rude, handyman or handy. That is rude. Skunks are not. They don't hurt nobody. I mean, yeah, they stink, but they don't hurt nobody. They you know, they just living their best life. Although it's interesting that you would bring up that was the choice he would make, because old rat traps back in the old days, like 1900s, 1800s, old rat traps actually had holes in them deliberately so that you could drop them in a bucket and drown the rat. I remember seeing an old rat trap one time. I was on like some sort of like antique roadshow or something, and they were talking about it. And one of the things that they had mentioned was that the reason why it had the holes was so that you could put it in a bucket and it wouldn't float. It would go down to the bottom and it would fill up with water, and the rat would die. The sticky traps are, I don't want to say they're awful, because if you monitor them daily, if you go and you check them all the time, you can actually pull the mouse off. It's actually really easy. I've done it before. You just put a little bit of oil on the mouse, and you can just pull the mouse right off the trap. The cruel part comes into play when you put the sticky trap down and you don't check it. So if you don't check it, what happens is the mouse gets stuck to the trap, and then eventually he gets his nose stuck in the trap, and he suffocates to death. Or even worse, you know, he struggles for hours and hours and hours on end trying to pull himself off. But what I noticed is that if you a little application of oil, and you can actually pull them off the trap, and then you know, what I would do is I would like gather them up in a little box, a whole bunch of stupid little mice, and I'd drive like 30 miles away and throw them out in the country. Little mice can go live their life in the actual fields where they belong.
Hello.
Yes?
Yeah, you can't just take them down the road. That doesn't work. Mice can travel up to like 5 miles in a day. They're perfectly and fully capable of traveling all the way back to your house by scent alone. And I have literally seen it happen before. You can literally do an experiment, like take the mouse and like get like a pink highlighter or something and draw like a little mark on the mouse's ear, and then the next time you catch the mouse in your house, take a look at his ear. It will be the same mouse. Like, you can't just drop the mouse off in a field down the road. It doesn't work. They come right back. That's why I said like 30 miles away in the forest. They actually have proven this, by the way, even with animals like bears that have become adapted to human living, and they raid picnic parks and stuff like that and steal food from tourists. They will literally try and rehabilitate these bears, and they will fly them out like 150 miles away from civilization and drop them out in the middle of a forest, like out in no man's land, and put like a tracker tag on the bear to make sure that they can, monitor that the bear is not coming back to humanity. And most of these bears still go right back to the nearest human settlement that they can find. I was too lazy to try further. Well, I hope you enjoy a mouse chewing on your belongings. If you guys ever want to see something something really cool, I mean, unless you're afraid of mice. If you're afraid of mice, then definitely don't look this up. But, so Australia has a very unique ecosystem. And the ecosystem is very interestingly balanced over in Australia. And animals like mice and rabbits, they just don't belong in Australia, and they can cause huge ecological problems. Look up the Australian mouse plague, and there's some footage of that thing. And I want to stress this because this is really really important. When your ecological system doesn't have predators in it, that is what happens. The Australian mouse plague is literally a plague of an infinitely multiplying mice community that has absolutely no predator to keep them in check. So imagine if you were, you had this multiplying animal, this animal that could make anywhere between 5 to 15 babies over and over and over again, multiplying off the food that you have, and there's not enough owls and snakes and foxes and various animals that hunt, like cats, that hunt those particular creatures. So your mice literally multiply without any kind of stopping. Yeah, you have to actually watch the footage, Andy. When you guys say that, I feel like you've never seen the footage. That's what tells me you've never seen the footage. There literally are mice. The mice are literally so thick, it's like grass. Like, literally, the guy opens up a drawer and goes like this, and just, sifts through the mice as if it was grain. Like, literally just grains of mice. Like, he's literally just going like this, and the mice are just falling through his fingers, and he just takes another handful, and he just goes like this, and it's just and there's, video footage of the mice running across the ground, and you can't even see the ground. It's just, a carpet, this thick of mice. It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It looks like something out of a horror movie. I wonder if I could find the video so you guys can have fun watching endless seas of mice. Endless seas. Endless seas. It's tagged not safe for work. Oh Lord, it's tagged not safe for work. That's amazing. Consuming our planet. You sound very, very nihilistic there, Handy. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we're thinking reasoning creatures. We are far different than animals. If every single animal on this planet were to have the same opportunity as humans did, they would destroy the Earth in a matter of years. I mean, granted, we might be still on the same course of destroying the Earth, but it will take hundreds and hundreds of years to do so. Because, you know, we're actively trying to stop it. Whereas, take for instance, just mice. We'll just take mice. If you took all the predators out of the equation, mice would literally destroy the entire planet. Like, within a matter of years. They would eat every single piece of vegetation on the planet. They would multiply until there was absolutely nothing left. No oxygen producing, no CO2 producing plants would be left. There would only be a massive amount of animals. Just completely sucking up every bit of oxygen left on the planet until everything would be dead. There wouldn't be a planet if like herbivores were able to proceed unchecked. That's why predators are so important. Humans are not the same way. We're not going to consume every piece of vegetation on the planet. We plant trees. When we cut them down, we go through the process of saving forests. I mean, there's whole endangered and national forests. That's not something that animals do. Animals don't go through the process of saving things. A mouse would just consume until there was nothing left, and that would be it. Apparently the snakes were overwhelmed in Everworld. You know, it takes a long time for a snake to digest anything. So, despite the fact that there are tons and tons of snakes in Australia, they could not consume them faster than they were being created. I mean, I'm sure every single snake in Australia was very well fed during that time period, but they were not, however, enough to combat the problem. I mean, heck, Australia's had so many freaking plagues over there, it's ridiculous. Have you guys ever looked into that kind of stuff over in Australia? Australia, just because of their unique ecosystem, they have so many problems over there. Rabbits apparently became a huge issue over there, and they had to get rid of the rabbits. Mice, they had a mice plague. They had a frog plague. Apparently, there was a whole plague of frogs because there wasn't enough predators over there to kill the frogs. Apparently, there were these like poisonous. Well, actually, I shouldn't say frogs. I think they were toads. There were these poisonous toads that that none of the animals knew how to eat or had never seen before, and they were multiplying out of control to the point of absurdity. And apparently, some of the birds had figured out how to flip the toads over and eat them without, you know, eating the poison that was on their back. Oh, and pigs. Apparently, pigs are running rampant over there as well. Apparently, the only predator to pigs over in Australia is apparently the crocodile or alligator, whichever one is over there. And I can never remember which one's which. The apparently the only time that the pigs get eaten by crocodiles or alligators is when the pigs ford across the river. Like they go across the river to you know, to get to the other side. Apparently that's when they get picked off by the alligators. But other than that, there's like no predators over there to kill the pigs. So the pigs are apparently now multiplying out of control and eating everything. I'm not sure what's going on over in Australia. It sounds pretty crazy, to be honest. And until you actually see it, you might not even believe it. Until you actually see things like the endless supplies of mice over there that just continually multiply without end. And it's nothing new either. Apparently there's like Australia has been having mice plagues as far back as like the olden days. Look at this freaking old-timey mouse plague picture of like a bunch of guys in Australia. I gotta link this. Hold on. You guys gotta see this. It's like a bunch of people from like the 1917 standing next to a pile of rats that's literally almost as tall as they are. I don't think anyone in the world has ever seen that many rats, except for over in Australia, not at one time. Good lord, that must be close to like 200, maybe even 300,000 rats in one spot. How the hell did they even catch that many? Well, I say rats, it's mice, sorry. I don't mean to convolute the two terms. I know rats and mice are two completely different things.
Not in town.
Well, have you ever seen like Futurama and stuff like that, where they joke about stuff like this? Like apparently somebody engineered a pine tree or something in Futurama, and the pine tree was like a really fast growing pine tree, and it took over the entire planet in like a matter of hours. Like the entire planet was covered in pine trees. And Al Gore is there, and he's like, "Well, we'll be okay as long as the oxygen percentage doesn't go over X, X percent." And they like hold a little detector up in the air, and the oxygen percentage is like 95% oxygen. And then frickin' Bender, like as if on cue, burps fire and lights the atmosphere on fire, because there's a lot of things that will burn at 100% oxygen that will never burn like normally, and literally the entire planet just turns into a giant fireball. That was one of the things that they discovered on the space shuttles, believe it or not. So when they were testing the space shuttles, I don't know if you remember that one space shuttle that they had all those horrible accidents on. The one that it was on the news. Everybody was really sad about it. I can't remember the name of it for some reason. But they had a fire started on it, and the fire was actually started because of the extraordinarily high concentration of oxygen. The Challenger, yes. It was a fire that should not have taken place because that thing should not have burned, but because the oxygen content was 100% in the air, it created a situation where, you know, there are things that can burn at 100% oxygen that will never burn, you know, normally. I can't remember how they fixed that. They might have added nitrogen to the air or something. I don't even know. I can't remember what they did to fix that issue. It's been a long time since I researched that subject. No, I'm pretty sure it was Challenger Neverworld. I'm pretty sure you're right. That rings a bell. Hmm. Makes you wonder if that's ever happened in the past. If the planet's ever gotten to the point where, you know, like there was so much oxygen that the planet lit on fire, and then everything had to start over again. Why, thank you. Keep slaying them. Thank you. I had a blue goat helm earlier, and that was pretty awesome, too. This one is just +2 to druid skills with +1 to solar creeper. I did have a +2/+2 earlier that I lost in a freaking transfer. I got realm downed. Yeah, that's the prevailing theory, that there was more oxygen back then. Yeah, it was a really sweet druid pelts. Keep slaying them. It was +2 druid, +2 tornado, +2 shockwave, and +2 solar creeper. And I freaking lost it to a transfer. I didn't even see it coming. I didn't even join and leave that many games. I don't even know why it happened. It's okay. I wasn't hurting for it anyway. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not worried about it. Not worried in the slightest. It's definitely a fun character, that's for sure. A Templar coat. Always worth taking back and selling because they're worth 35,000 or 30,000, like no matter what, depending on what difficulty you're in. You made a lot of wind druids in your day. Keep slaying them. Zons and barbs. No pallies and sorks. I'm gonna make like one of everything. Probably multiple of everything. I'm probably gonna have like one of every single character, like every single build. That's me. Mr. I like to play with everything. I'm gonna build a Arctic Frost Druid. Just to make everyone angry. Why would you do that? Why would you build Arctic Frost? It's the worst spell that ever existed in Spellland. And then I'm gonna make it work too. It's gonna be the first working Arctic Frost Druid. And they'd be like, even though you made it work, it's so impractical. It doesn't even kill things that quickly. I mean, it takes you like a whole 3 minutes to kill Baal in hell. Like, you can't make this work. It's impossible. And I'd be like, yep, Arctic Blast, you did it. I love fighting with people like that, by the way. Like, it's one of my favorite things to do in this game. You find somebody who absolutely, like, has to build their character a certain way, and you just have fun fighting with them. Something stuck in my mustache. Don't you hate it when something is stuck in your mustache? +1 Dragon Tail, +2 Claws of Thunder. Meh. I did Ubers the other day with a conviction paladin. I thought that was pretty fun. That was an unconventional build for sure. Mephisto's conviction doesn't cancel out your conviction, so as a conviction paladin, you just walk in there and you just kind of laugh at Mephisto's conviction. It's pretty funny. Granted, you still have to use Smite a little bit, because Smite is, it's just kind of OP. But you don't build Smite. I literally only had 1 point in Smite, and, like, all my plus to skills just made it, like, decent, like, halfway decent. And I don't have a Smiter shield on either, I'm just using a Storm shield. Man, I'm on GGM Baal 9 already, and not a single person has joined. GGM Baal 10. Let's go. A real player. Come on. This is so sad. It's so very sad. I'm not even talking about you guys. I'm just talking about randoms. People will join bot bail runs all day long, but God forbid you join a cobra. God forbid you join a freaking a bail run with somebody who's actually a real person. Ooh, a circlet. Could be godlike, could be absolute dog vomit. Let's find out tonight at 11. +1 necro with 40 life. Meh. Dog water. What's up, get smashed? Let's see if he sticks around. Half the time they won't even stick around. Of course, he could be somebody from stream, like one of the people who came in and to show me pity. They're like, I will come and join you, sir. And he came in, it wasn't where he expected it to be. God forbid you walk and actually kill stuff. And he's gone. Yep, he wanted a bot run. It wasn't a bot run. He left. People are so freaking pampered with these bot runs, man. I don't know what they're going to do without the bot runs. Because I tell you what, I'm going to be reporting every single bot that exists in Diablo II Resurrected. So don't be botting around me. Don't come in and be like, this is my new Pendlebot 785. I'm going to be like, reported. I'll be like, I got this item botting today. Reported. I ain't got time. I want to play with people. I don't want to play with bots. Alright? That's my stance, and I'm sticking to it. I want to actually play with real people. I don't want to play with a robot. You go into a Counter-Strike match and play with 20 other bots. You go into an Overwatch match and play with all bots. That's if that's apparently what you want to do, is go play with bots. You go play with all bots. I want to play with people, please. Let's get some real people playing the game. You guys ever actually sat there and played like an Overwatch match or a Team Fortress match or like a Counter-Strike match with all bots? Isn't it just like the most boring thing like in the world? Like, I'll literally start to fall asleep like playing with the bots. There's like no variation. They're not even really very difficult, and even the ones that are difficult, they're like so broken difficult. Like they're literally aiming at you through the wall before you even turn the corner. Like, I used to watch the replays on the Counter-Strike bots just for fun to see how they did things. And there's, you'd literally watch them literally go like this and aim at you the entire way as you moved around through the walls. And then, like, when you came around the corner, they would just shoot you directly in the head because they already knew you were there. They just couldn't fire yet. What's up, Lord? Is that Beast Boy? Hello, I am Bot 7000. I will be your Baal runner today. Please come with me. Please be warned, the portal is hot. 10 plus monsters are at the portal. Undead Stygian dolls have been detected. Please exit the portal in a timely fashion. Beep boop. Rethought your build on what, Lord? Refresh my memory. Because God knows my memory needs refreshing. I might have Alzheimer's. Is max E-shield a viable thing? What do you mean by E-shield? I'm not sure what you mean. What do you mean by max E-shield? Yes, max energy shield is a thing. Energy shield is actually a really viable thing, but you have to max out. Number one, you have to max out the telekinesis skill. Telekinesis actually has a synergy built in with energy shield, which increases the conversion rate. So when you first get energy shield by itself, so let's say you have level 1 telekinesis and level 20 energy shield, the conversion rate for energy shield is 2 to 1. So for every 1 point of health damage you take on energy shield, you gain you take 2 points to your mana. So it's actually really ineffective. If you max out telekinesis along with energy shield, it goes down to 0.5 to 1. So for every 1 damage you take in physical, like in your health damage, you will take 0.5 damage to your mana. And at that point, energy shield becomes extremely viable. And what you do there is you stack, instead of stacking your points into vitality, you stack all of your points into energy. You also are probably going to want to max out warmth so that your energy is regenerating as high as, as quickly as possible. And pretty much every single point and thing you get is going to be to increase your, not your HP, but your mana instead. So things like Sojs, things like Frostburns will have a huge effect on your hit points. So like, if you've already got like 1,000 points in mana, you can put on like a pair of Frostburns, which increases your maximum mana by 40%, which is going to literally give you 400 extra mana, and it's going to increase your health by 400 essentially. One of the main issues though with energy shield is it doesn't block all of the damage. It only blocks some of the damage. I believe when you have it maxed out, it's 95%. I could be wrong about that. So you are still going to have some HP to counter that 5% that can break through your energy shield. The good thing about energy shield builds, though, is you tend not to have any problem with mana because you tend to have so much mana and so much mana regeneration that you really don't even have to worry about it. What's up, Only Ever Nidale? there's a lot of things I can't wait for. Only I can't wait for all the draconian BattleNet laws to be gone. I can't wait for the shared stash. I can't wait for literally like half the stuff in this game, this Diablo II Resurrected game that's coming. Is all things that that really, really needed to be in place a long time ago. Shift-clicking items into the stash? Oh my god, please let me shift-click items in and out of the stash. Please. I don't know why that wasn't a thing. Why do I have to take each item in and out and in manually? Why am I forced to literally take every single rune and every single object in and out of the stash by hand? You know, like when you have a rune mule, you know how annoying it is to have to take all of your runes out of the stash? It's literally like 80 runes. And you're just sitting there, click, 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 click. Will it ever stop? I don't know. All they need is this. Look, okay, you take a potion out of your belt, right? This is in the original game, mind you. This is in the original game. It's not even like it's something that's being added, like, fresh. See your belt? See my belt is empty? If I hold down the shift key and I click on the potion, it goes into the belt. You can literally see it going into the belt. That's all they have to do. Let me shift-click on something from my inventory and put it into the stash. Let me shift-click on something from my stash and put it into my inventory. The auto-sort, I think, is mainly for controller, because the controller has some issues with that. But yes, auto-sort was confirmed in the game. $11. We finally got somebody to join our Baal runs, but they left immediately because we weren't in the Baal's throne room already, which was just sad. Oh, you weren't in Baal's throne room already? Oh man, I can't really wait the 10 seconds it takes you to walk over to the to the throne room. I was literally right there next to the throne room when he joined too. I was literally almost there. All he had to do was wait like 10 seconds and I would have been there. The sheer impatience. I don't want a separate inventory for charms. I feel like that would break the game. You're talking too many changes at that point. Can you imagine if every single character from level 1 to 99 could hold on to every single charm that they find, no matter how insignificant the charm is? Literally to the point where they're filling up an entire charm inventory. So literally every single person in the game could have an entire inventory full of charms at any point with absolutely no penalty. That would be a huge unbalancing issue within the game. And the game is already easy enough. It doesn't need anything that's going to make it any easier. And if anything, the game needs something that's going to make it more difficult, not easier. Oh yes, Handy. Mana burn is a scary thing when you're a energy shield sorceress. Correct. That's why you need regen. You need lots and lots of regen, so that even in the event that someone were to come up and hit you with a, you know, a ridiculous mana burn hit and burn away all of your health like that, your mana essentially in this case, you could regenerate it super fast. The charm level requirements don't really mean anything. That's not really what I'm talking about. Like, as I'm leveling up a character, I will find a massive number of charms. Most of those charms I will deem as charms that I should not hold. Like, I'm not going to ruin my inventory space for this charm. However, if you institute a charm inventory, you will create a situation where your players will hold on to every single charm that they find until that inventory is full. So they will always have a full inventory of charms no matter what. And this creates an unbalancing effect. It doesn't have anything to do with the charms having a level requirement, because everybody will find charms appropriate to their level as they level up. And even if you wanted to go so far and to say that someone is deliberately putting charms on their character, they're going to deliberately put charms on their character which are the correct level for that character. I even talked about this before in one of my other videos of holding on to specific charms for low-level characters so they would have those charms. So like holding on to level 20 and level 40 charms to give to low-level characters. You could literally, at that point, just fill entire characters with charms and make them just broken, overpowered. With absolutely no downside. The balancing mechanic of charms is inventory space. When you take away the balancing mechanic of charms, which is inventory space, you take away the point of charms. Most people will, keep the charms that they deem worthy. That's how it works. I'm beating up my dog. Yeah, my dog. Not my dog. I have no dogs. I need to take her out to go to the bathroom soon. I mean, and that's another thing that the shift click will come in handy for, being able to swap your charms in between your inventories. It'll certainly make it a lot easier to swap charms, that's for sure. Why is my freaking tornado not on my bar? Another thing that hopefully will disappear with Diablo II Resurrected is the skills constantly being unassigned from your bar. Who was talking about harming a dog, Candy? It seems like a really odd conversation starter. I didn't say beating up. I said beat. Like you beat a drum, like the beat of a drum, like using your hand to make a sound, not a hurt. A beat is something that you beat. Like as if you were to knock your hand on the table, specifically with the intent of making noise. You don't knock your hand on the table specifically with the intent of hurting your hand. Like if you were to punch the table with all of your might and energy, your hand would probably end up broken. If you were to beat the table with an intent of making noise, you're not going to hurt your hand, you're going to make sound. So when I say beat the dog, I'm talking about like patting the dog in a way where it makes a sound like a drum. The drumming of the dog. I'll say drumming of the dog. How about that? +2 Hurricane, +1 Armageddon, +2 Fury with 2 sockets. That's an interesting helmet. You've never drummed your dog, Handy? Heck, I drum myself. +2 to Hurricane is nice, but it doesn't have anything else on it. Meh.
Good afternoon.
Alright, guys and gals, I gotta get some sleep before work. I gotta go in at like 4 a.m. tonight, so I'm gonna call it a night. It's been fun. I will keep looking for information, I promise. You know, so keep your ears to the ground, hit the follow button, just like Brooklyn the Cat did. Thank you for that follow. And Tiffany Wall, thank you for the follow. Escalon, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. All of you followed within the past 2 hours. Nice. Really appreciate that. When I have information, I promise I will have the information out. It will probably go up on my YouTube page first, so if you want to make sure you're subscribed over there. I do have what's called community access now, since I'm monetized. I'm a YouTube partner now, so I have this little thing where I can send out like a post to my subscribers. And so, like, for instance, with the Xbox leak, I posted that Xbox leak before I ever had announced it on Twitch or made a video about it. So there was a post with that Xbox leak on it, you know, well before I could get any word out. So, you know, keep an eye over there. And as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos. Means a lot to me. And you know, keep watching.